Hey, sports card collectors and investors. Hope everybody is having a great day today. I'm excited about this video. I've been looking forward to this one all day, actually. So this is one, it's been requested by a lot of our viewership. As you see, we make a lot of videos that are, 5 cards that are $25 or less, or $50 or less, or $100 or less, and it's usually football, baseball, basketball, and everything in between. Today we're going to cover basketball cards at $5 or less. So these are ones that I'm targeting, and I've got one pick that I guarantee that nobody is gonna guess what it is, because it is outside the box. And bear with me, I'm going to explain like I always do. But I'm going to go through these 5 picks. These are cards that I'm looking at. And again, like usual, these are players that in general I'm targeting. But at $5, you have to, obviously very limited. But I've noticed that a lot of my viewers, and not even necessarily folks that are on a low budget, but it's good to diversify, I think, as well. I've been doing a little bit more of this lately with $5, $10 cards, as opposed to, I think that my bread and butter is probably anywhere from $40 to $100, and then I do have some that are higher than that. But I'm typically not investing in thousands of dollars for each card. That's just not my style, not kind of the way that I'm going with it. I'm trying to kind of diversify a little bit more across different sets and different inserts and different things like that. But I think it's a really good idea to take a portion of the resources and look at some of these low dollar cards where there could be value, because I know that there are a lot of collectors and investors that do a lot of flipping just with low dollar cards. They buy cards for a couple dollars and they sell those cards for $5, $10, $20 down the line. And to me, as long as you're okay with doing more of those volume sales, or selling them in lots, later on, then I think that there is a lot of opportunity there. I've seen it, I've seen it firsthand from other collectors and investors. So, and not to say that some of these $5 cards can't turn into, $10, $15, $20 cards, maybe even a $50 card. They're all raw cards, but there's plenty of raw cards going for high dollar. So, these are ones that I picked out that I thought were intriguing. I wanted to share with you. So this is my 5 basketball card picks at $5 or less that I found just doing some research that I'm going to take a hard look at as we move forward. So the first card on my list is one, I do own a couple of these. It's 2019 Optic LeBron James number 60 base card. So with the rise of demand in the sports card investing community, collecting community, there is more of an emphasis on base cards, more than there ever has been before. There was a time when base cards were just kind of thrown to the side and not paid much attention to, and in a lot of cases that's still kind of the case for most players. LeBron James is not most players, obviously, and so this is an opportunity that I see where maybe you buy the card at $5, $6. I have seen them as low as $5, $4 or $5. And then it could potentially be a $8, $9, $10, $15, $20 card, even though it is a base card. What stands out for me with this is it's his first, or it's not his first, 2018 was, but it's LeBron in a Lakers jersey. It is his second year in his Lakers jersey, but there are a lot of LeBron collectors and also LeBron investors that want his stuff in a Lakers jersey, as opposed to a Cavs or a Heat jersey. And then there's also LeBron collectors that don't mind, or they'll collect all LeBron. So, but there is a particular subset of people that are looking for Lakers cards. Optic makes a great set. It's a popular set, and these are low dollar cards that that I'm targeting. I'm not going to buy 100 of them, but where you can find some value here too is taking a look at buying in lots, because sometimes people are just trying to move lots. Sometimes the lot prices are not great, but there are opportunities sometimes where they've packaged them together, and there could be an opportunity there. Maybe it's breakers that have extra cards, or people that are just looking for parallels. They're not really looking to keep base, and so they'll lot those up and they'll put them online. And that's where I see some opportunities there. So this is my first pick, that 2019 Optic LeBron James number 60. My next pick is the one that no one is going to see coming. Maybe some people, but I highly doubt it. Okay, so there is speculation right now that with Avery Bradley not going to the bubble to play for the Lakers in the playoffs, that J.R. Smith could potentially sign with the Lakers. Okay, J.R. Smith hasn't played in 2 years in the NBA. So his cards, as you may have guessed, are very, very low. And I'll put in one of my picks up, I saw a lot, I believe it's $2.99 buy it now. It's a lot of, I believe it's 6 J.R. Smith, and there's parallels in there, hollow and different things. I didn't take a very close look, but it was just an example of J.R. Smith cards that are not necessarily base cards, but actually are parallels that are 50 cents, 75 cents, 80 cents each when you break it down, when you break down the cost. I'm sure there's a boatload of J.R. Smith card deals out there for people that just, he hasn't played in the league. There's no motivation, to really have them. So this is one where, I'm just play out the scenario with me. They sign J.R. Smith. The Lakers it's deep into the playoffs. I think even if they go deep in the playoffs, maybe J.R. Smith gets a couple big buckets in the playoffs. He doesn't have to average 20 points a game. He just needs to come in, maybe make a basket or two, show some good things, and then the Lakers go deep into the playoffs. I don't even think they would need to win the championship for his cards to possibly see a bump. So that was one where, look, we're naming out cards at $5 or less, right? So it's going to be fairly limited as far as this stuff goes. And so this is one where kind of an intriguing prospect, just being that he could sign. Now he might not sign. But if he does for the Lakers, that could be an opportunity for, in the next couple of months, his cards possibly going up. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. It was just an intriguing pick that I thought I would add in. That's a little different from probably some of the other picks that you've seen on the internet. So I wanted to throw that one in there. Let me know what you think. You're probably going to say I'm nuts, and that's perfectly fine. But we're trying to come up with some new types of ideas and content here. We're not just manufacturing the same old thing. So that is my second pick, is J.R. Smith. Next up, I've got Paul George, another guy that nobody really talks about very much. The second best player, arguably, on the Clippers. I would say most people probably would agree with that. His 2019 mosaic, I was just looking, there was I believe this is a lot. I'm going to try to find it and I'll post it. But 2019 Paul George mosaic hollow, two separate cards, or Prism Silver Raws. These are all raw. Anyway, the point is these are cards. These are the mosaic hollows are great in my opinion. I really like that insert. Obviously, I'm big on hollow in general, but mosaic hollows are rare, regardless of what player that you're looking at. They're hard cards to pull, and Paul George mosaic hollows are very inexpensive in comparison to a Giannis, in comparison to a LeBron, in comparison to some of these other guys. And so, if you are a Paul George person, or you think that Paul George could make a splash in the playoffs, this is an intriguing prospect for me. And then Prism Silver as well is one where I think this is a $2 or $3 card, raw. Again, the Clippers go deep in the playoffs, and maybe they see a bump. So that is my third pick, is Paul George. My fourth pick for $5 cards is, I'm going to homer here a little bit again, and I know people are tired of hearing about it, Kristaps Porzingis, guys. He's a guy that I really like, and I think that he is, him and Luka are the future and maybe the present. We'll see what happens. I think they might surprise people. I hope I'm not eating my words, but I think the Mavericks are just a good overall long-term. If you're looking at kind of that 5-year window, I like the Mavericks. So I'm just looking at 2019 Porzingis. Silver Prism was one that popped up. This is number 76. This is a Silver Prism, not a base. $2 raw. I just saw one of these auctions, or an auction or buy it now. I'm not sure, but it's kind of intriguing. It's $2, and again, it's not a base card. It is a Silver Prism, so it's a little bit more rare, a little bit more difficult to pull. And when you think about just how expensive these products are in retail to buy anyway, think about how much, Prism sold out, Prism Basketball. How much do the packs cost on the secondary market? I haven't looked, but I know it's not cheap. So a lot of these cards, I just feel like they're good values just for how difficult it can be to pull, good players from packs. So anyway, Porzingis is my fourth pick with that Silver Prism. That's a 2019 really slick looking card. And then last but certainly not least, it's a guy that I have talked about previously as well, Klay Thompson. So 2019 Mosaic Silver. Again, I'm a fan of Mosaic Silver because that is a rare card to pull. That is not an easy card to pull from what I've seen. And again, if you're comparing, take a look at LeBron's Mosaic Silver, take a look at Luka's Mosaic Silvers, and then look at what Klay Thompsons are, and they're nothing. I mean, I believe the lot is mosaics $5 for an orange cracked ice, and then also a mosaic silver, and I believe it's $5 for the 2 cards. Now, granted, it's raw. You know, of course, we have to check condition on all of these and all the rest of it. But a lot of these are just pulled from packs and they're put in cases. One thing I would stress is, and I know that people have different opinions on this, but there are so many raw cards on the market that there's an assumption that, you know, there's no way to buy a raw card off of eBay and that card graded a PSA 10. Please do not assume that everybody knows what they're looking at, what they're doing, that they are grading experts on this stuff. I mean, a lot of people, they pull them from packs and they're just trying to get their, you know, they're just trying to recoup money from the packs to buy more packs because they like to rip wax, you know. So never assume that, you know, sure, of course, there's going to be those instances where somebody looks at the card, it's off center, I think it's going to be a PSA 8 or 9, I don't want to risk it, I'm going to put that up for sale. Of course, there are instances of that. But I think there are a lot of instances where there are people that don't necessarily have all that experience to be able to just eyeball it and get a good idea of grade. So, you know, there are good finds, raw finds that I've found on eBay where, and again, I'm not a grading expert, but I've gotten a lot of raw cards. I'm looking at them and they look great. You know, so I wouldn't just assume that you have to buy graded, especially, you know, I'm on a limited budget. A lot of my viewership is on a limited budget. I can't afford to buy PSA 10s all day long. You know, for me, the fun is the collecting piece of getting those cards. So the raw cards is where you can get some good values. And then, you know, there's upside with these raw cards too. It's amazing. Take a look at some of the raw LeBron cards and the Luka cards that are out there. There's some expensive raw cards out there. So anyway, this all kind of falls to on, you know, which horses are you running with? Kawhi Leonard is obviously one that people are targeting. You know, there's a lot of guys out there that you know, these might not be players that you like. There might be other players. You can kind of apply this. I apply this sort of thing, this thinking, to any of the other players that I might be targeting. And these players that I'm looking at now might be completely different, you know, next week, you know. So it just all depends on your thoughts and what you think, which horses you're going to run with. But you can find these mosaic hollows, find these, you know, these optic hollows and these types of cards, and there's some good values out there from what I've seen. So anyway, guys, if you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. Let me know what you think about these picks. I know there's a few that are maybe outside the box a little bit, and that's okay. I like to debate. I like to get feedback. And so leave me a comment below, let me know, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, guys. Take care.